Good morning, class. My name is TT, and today I'll be presenting Christians in the 21st century American government. So I'll be discussing how Christians can faithfully understand and engage within the major components of the 21st century. We'll focus on policy making, domestic and economic policies, and from then on we'll proceed to talking about foreign policy and all views Christians has and through their lenses. So moving on to the first slide. The 21st century has brought rapid changes into the politics and society. For Christians, understanding how government works is essential because all our faith calls us to be responsible citizens who act accordingly, love mercy, and walk humbly, as Micah 6:8 instructs. Engaging thoughtfully in politics always allows us to influence our community in ways that honor God and serve others. Moving on to the second slide, policy making in divided nations. So policy making refers to the process by which our government creates laws and regulations. Today we see some major trends shaping policy making. For example, legislative gridlock often slows down Congress, executive orders are used by the president to act quickly, and courts are increasingly deciding the key political questions. One real-world example is the Supreme Court case Dobbs versus Jackson, which overturned Roe versus Wade in 2022, and shifted abortion policy making to the states. This case demonstrates the powerful role courts play in shaping policy. Moving on to the third slide, Christian reflection on policy making. As Christians, we are called to advocate for the truth, justice, and compassion through the policy making process. However, we must avoid blind participation and treating political parties like idols. The Bible encourages us to pray for our leaders and act with humility and grace. Our civic engagement should reflect Christ's character, promoting peace rather than division. Moving on to the fifth slide, domestic and economic policy. Domestic policy focuses on issues affecting daily lives such as healthcare, education, and social services. Economic policy deals with taxation, government spending, and regulation of financial markets. Two examples are the Affordable Care Act, which expanded healthcare access, and recent student loan forgiveness efforts aimed at reducing debt burdens. These policies impact families, churches, and marginalized communities in significant ways. Moving on to the fifth slide, Christian response to domestic and economic policy. Christians can respond to these policies through service, helping those in need, advocacy, speaking up for justice, and education. Helping others understand complex issues our faith is what calls us to care for the poor, vulnerable, and steward resources wisely. Moving on to the sixth slide, foreign policy and global responsibility. Foreign policy shapes how the U.S. interacts with the world. Current priorities include national security, diplomacy, international aid. For example, tensions with China over trade and security are ongoing. The US has supported Ukraine in its conflict with Russia, and promoting international religious freedom remains a priority. Moving on to the seventh slide, we got Christians' reflection on foreign policy. Christians' values such as peacemaking, human dignity, stewardship, and compassion must guide our perspective on global issues. As followers of Christ, we should support policies that promote peace, protect persecuted peoples, and foster and responsible leadership worldwide. Moving on to the eighth slide in the conclusion. So we're going to conclude. In conclusion, understanding policy making, domestic and economic policy, and foreign policy is crucial for Christians who want to engage faithfully in the American government. Scripture calls us to be salt and light in society, influencing it with right, truth, justice, and love. I encourage you to consider how you live out your faith through your civic engagement. And then moving on to the last part of the presentation, where I got all my references and all my information was, I got my sources for this presentation include the Bible, Pew Research Center, the U.S. Department of State, and Christian scholar Tim Keller. Thank you so much for coming in and listening to my presentation for my final project. My name is TT, and I appreciate you tuning in.